faculty members who have worked with the school over the years, memorializations of folks who worked at the school. We have lots of information on that topic. In terms of Fort Ord, a lot of folks, a lot of men who served at Fort Ord over the years, a few women. We have records like the only archival collection of the Fort Ord Panorama newspaper, and yearbooks, class books, things of that nature, which are of interest to folks who are looking for information on their families.
So, following up on what Cameron's saying about collection scope, we have fairly broad collection scope given the different facility. It's really tied to each facility. Like the Presidio Museum, we collect in concert with Cameron's unit information on the Army and especially the relationship of the Army to the city of Monterey and how they interacted and contributed to one another, supported one another. Fought a fire together, did a lot of other things, years of major fire. We also really tried to interpret the Lower Presidio Historic Park, which is one of our archaeologists called one of the most significant sites on the West Coast here, because this is really where the American Army found one of its first forts. It also was the site of a Spanish battery to protect Monterey, the Presidio of Monterey, which was the capital. Other places we have, like California History Room, we cover, our scope is from early California and the native peoples here, the Runcian, Esalen, Salinans, other people that inhabited the Monterey Peninsula and Monterey County. But it also covers really the Spanish period. Why? It's called the California History Room for a reason, because Monterey was the capital for most of the time of Spanish and Mexican period, Alta California. So we cover that. And then we cover Monterey County up until some shenanigans took place. Sorry for you Salinas folks. And made Salinas the county seat instead of Monterey. And early California, and the same thing with Colton Hall. We definitely cover early California, the early American period there as well, because the Constitution was created in the hall there, and it was also an early dedicated school building in Monterey. So those are several. And then, very different is the Ed Ricketts Lab, which really talks about, we tell the story of Ed Ricketts and his circle of friends, including John Steinbeck, also the club that took over after Ricketts' death, that really was essentially the founders of the Monterey Jazz Festival in Ricketts' old lab. So those, you can see how broad it covers. So we cover all the way, native peoples, all the way to what happened a few weeks ago, or yesterday.
So, well, then this is covering everything. We have a much narrower scope, very obviously, because we're focused on one person, but that can still be surprisingly wide at times. So we are focused on John Steinbeck and his legacy. So that means everything from his personal life to his working life, both as an author and the odd jobs he had in between, being an author and early in his life. But legacy also means the effect that he had. So we include so when we talk about personal life, we talk about documents, IDs, personal things that he owned. We showed some personal effects that he had owned today. This also includes with his working life, that includes as complete a record as we can possibly manage of his publication history. So that's everything from first editions of his works to translations, as many as possible, to where he appeared in digests or various short story collections or newspapers, occasionally just for when he was just writing, he wrote a beer ad at one point, and that appeared in a Life magazine, so that's his publication history. But then on the legacy side, that's where we include dissertations, theses, scholarship about Steinbeck, as well as the influence that he had. So when we talk about Steinbeck's influence, we can talk about the other artists that he worked with, including the photographers. So Dorothea Lange, Horace Bristol, we try and include biographies of them to include and to look at Steinbeck center of our web, but then we go out to a lot of the related ideas and subjects that he actually touched on. So that's where then we include a lot of Monterey things and things about ecology as well, because of Steinbeck and Ricketts and that connection, and do some small collecting of Ricketts items and things like that. So we range very widely from very personal, intimate items, from his pipes, things that we would have used every day, to the effect that he's had today. So when a new mural goes up that features Steinbeck, we want a picture of